If there is one area in international politics where the EU still plays a really leading role and is recognized as such, it is in the fight against climate change. The reason is that we were there from 1992 when we set up the UN Convention. We have not left the Kyoto Protocol or the Paris Agreement. We've always been there, and we have always led the movement for climate change by setting ambitious targets, which we have delivered on. So Europe is indeed a trendsetter for climate change. Moreover, we are still the biggest development aid donor of the world, and a larger and larger share of that development aid is now going to climate mitigation or other environmental aims. Furthermore, we have a big internal market. Our share in the world economy is shrinking, but we still have an important internal market. And we are conditioning more and more the access to our internal market on environmental standards and environmental concerns. So Europe can indeed play a trailblazing role in the fight against climate change. We have done so, and hopefully others will follow our example, because as I said, it is a global problem and Europe is not going to save the planet on its own. A climate diplomat is first of all a diplomat. So a diplomat is, to put it simply, the voice, the eyes and the ears of the country or the body it represents, in my case the European Union. So the task of a diplomat is to convey the messages of Europe on climate through the instruments that I have already mentioned, to show the example, to use development aid and to use our internal market. But it's also about listening to others and, on the basis of what you have heard, speak to the people in Brussels about the reactions that third countries have given on European ideas. So a diplomat is, in a way, the sales department of a company. And a good salesperson tries to sell, but also says to the manufacturing department that some of the products that you try to sell are not sellable. And that is the role of a climate diplomat. As I said, it is a global problem. We are 7% of emissions. We need to have an active climate diplomacy, because without the rest of the world following, our efforts will, on the whole, be futile. To be a good climate diplomat, there are two things I believe that you need. The first is, of course, a good grasp of international relations, a good command of the evolving geopolitics in which you operate. Europe is losing its weight, which is in and of itself perhaps not a bad thing. It means that the rest of the world is getting more prosperous. But on the other hand, power is a zero-sum game. If somebody gets more important, it must mean that someone gets less important. And you have to understand the geopolitics in which you operate. The second thing you need to understand is that obviously you need to understand the substance of climate change and climate policy. So you need to have a good basic command of the science of climate and of the economics of climate. And if you have those ingredients, then I think you're all set for doing a decent job.